Good morning. It is a beautiful Sunday on the water. We finally have a good day on the weekend so I can bring my family out on the boat. We got my mom, my dad, Vic, Fisher, and Gabby on the boat today. We are heading out to go lobstering, so wish us luck. I will see you guys underwater. It is the most beautiful, crystal clear day ever. Look at how flat it is.
Oh man, look at these fish. You can see everything.
It's like a mirror.
He's like 5 feet under the surface.
Here he comes. He's got it.
You got one?
Yep. Good job, fish.
Good size one. Wants it.
Well, Fisher was the first person in the water. He said he saw one lobster, said hand me the net and tickle stick. He already caught one lobster. First lobster of the day. Let's see if we can find some more. Before we like throwing the anchor, we always send someone in to check to see how many lobsters are there, because there's kind of no point of anchoring if, let's say, there's only one or let alone none. So Fisher jumped in again at our second spot now because the first spot only had one lobster. And he says that there's one here, so he's gonna go down and catch it, and then hopefully we can find some more so that we can anchor up and everyone get in. But right now Fisher's doing all the work for us. It's so clear that you can literally see him on the bottom right there. And we are in 22 feet of water.
Another pretty good size one.
Good job. Lobster number 2, Fisher is getting it done. Fisher has caught those last 2 lobsters by tickling them out to himself and catching them with this net. And I hand make every single one of these and sell them on my website, FloridaLobsterNets.com. We've been using these for probably close to 12 years now. It's a shallow net so that they're really easy to get in and out of the net. And then also it's clear so they can't even see it. But if you guys are interested in ordering any of these, I'll have the link in the description, or you can go to FloridaLobsterNets.com. You also need to legally use a lobster gauge to be out on the water. You have to have one on the boat. So if you don't have one of those, I'm gonna have lobster gauges coming to my website soon as well. So lobster season runs from August 6th till March 31st. So this could possibly be our last chance to go diving before the end of the season. Going in, my dad found one. So gotta go help him catch it. Here's my dad diving down, pointing at a rock where there's a lobster. He uses the tickle stick to chase the lobster to the other side of the rock where I am, and I'm able to net it. I know you couldn't really tell, but that's what happened. There we go. Got a nice keeper. Now my dad is diving down again to where there's another lobster. He's pointing where he wants me to go so he can try to chase the lobster to me. If you notice, this lobster is in a hole where he can only come towards me or move backwards. This would have been the perfect setup for someone to go behind him, and I would ideally chase it right into their hand. However, that's not what happened, and he ended up escaping from this rock and moving into another one. So now Victor is diving down, and he's going to try to tickle it outside of the rock so that I'll be able to net it. While freediving, you can imagine you only have so much time to get to do what you want to do before you run out of air and have to come back up to the surface. So Victor tried to find the lobster under this rock, but had to come back up to get air. So now my dad went back down, and now he's trying to tickle it out, and he actually gets it to come out of the rock, so here I am going down to get it. It ends up shooting into this rock where I can't get my net to fit, so I have to stick my arms in to be able to get the lobster out.
Nice job, Brooke.
Well, chased that one around before to about 5 different rocks, and finally he wedged himself in somewhere where I could just stick my hand in there and get him. But another keeper. It's number 4.
He's keeper.
If you had to choose a motto for my family while diving, I think it would be teamwork makes the dream work. No one is ever off doing things alone. We're always working together, one lobster at a time, and I think that really helps us be successful. As you just saw, my dad was working at this lobster and then ran out of air, so now Victor went down to try to work at the same lobster, and they don't always do exactly what you want them to do, and you have to spend a little time to get them to finally come out of the rock. Here's Victor diving down to work that same lobster. Let's give him a timestamp to see how long he holds his breath on this dive. Lobsters can walk all over the place, but they can move very quickly by closing their tails swiftly and propelling themselves backwards. This lobster is moving from rock to rock, but Victor finally gets it out from under the rock and I was able to net it. Victor is ascending from his dive now. We'll give him 43 seconds. Good job, Vic.
What's gonna be cool with that shot? There's a hogfish right behind you in the background as you catch that lobster.
I didn't even see it.
There's a hogfish literally right behind her.
I don't know if it's gonna be keeper.
I think it's legal.
Oh, nope. He's exactly 3 inches. He's exactly 3 inches, and they have to be bigger than 3 inches. So, gotta let this one go.
There's 4 down there.
So my dad just said there's 4 lobsters under this rock. He chases the first one out, and as far as grace is concerned, I'll give this catch a 2 out of 10. But hey, it's in the net, so a 10 out of 10 on success. There's like 3 more still.
There's still that other one that I lost.
No, he came here.
Oh, that was
Out
him?
of the back of that rock
Oh.
into
I
this
don't know if
one.
that's him, but he came here. There's 3 of them.
He's good. Lobsters usually use their antennas to fend off predators. Here Victor is trying to coax the lobster out with the tickle stick, while the lobster under the rock to the left is hitting him in the head with his antennas. This lobster ends up turning around and shooting into Victor's hands. Perfect catch.
There's another big one there.
Good job.
In the same rock?
No, the other.
Oh, you see
What's
that
that
one
left? Yeah.
with his tentacles trying to hit you?
Yeah?
Okay.
Nice one.
Female lobsters carry their eggs underneath their tail. Unfortunately, it's very hard to see these eggs sometimes before you catch them. It's illegal to harvest female lobsters with eggs, so as soon as I got this lobster in the net, I noticed the eggs and immediately got her out of the net. No harm done. Here's Victor checking underneath a big coral head. What looks like it could be the perfect spot for some lobsters to hang out. And what do you know? There were 2 lobsters under here. Victor gets the lobster to come out from underneath the rock, and he looks around, probably looking for me, like, where's Brook? And bam, there I am. And get ready for the world's worst touchdown dance. Let's see if he's legal.
I wasn't sure if you even saw me.
What?
I wasn't sure if you even saw me.
No, I saw you stick a tickle stick under, and I was like, oh, he's using a tickle stick. That means there's one. He's good. Now Victor dives down to the same coral head to tickle out the other lobster. He sneaks out the top of the rock and gently falls to the bottom. And I'm not gonna lie, you don't have a perfect lobster catch every time. If a lobster is pushed to the back of a rock and has nowhere to go, sometimes we'll choose to stick our arm in and try to grab the lobster. That's what Victor is doing here. Good job, Vic.
Thanks, Brook. This one was very tough. He was all wrapped up in the coral head. Just basically, I could barely get my hand in there. He was just wedged in, but ripped him out of there.
Checked the one side and didn't look on the other side and never even saw this one.
And he looks legal too.
That's crazy.
You gotta check every corner.
For real.
He's good.
I think he's good. Here is Victor diving down to what looks like is a really, really small rock. But believe it or not, there were 4 lobsters hiding underneath here.
Uh-huh.
He's good!
There's another one on the other side too.
This one's too small. I don't even
throw
have to measure it. So there's still another one? 2 more?
Pretty sure.
I think this one's small too, but I actually need to measure this one. Small. That's a nice one. There's still one more. I don't know what size he is.
I think 2 more still.
2 more still?
That's the smaller of the 2 that are left.
Really?
Yep.
He's a keeper. He's feisty. Let's check just to make sure, but I think he's good. Dinner!
Easy.
Keeper. Good job, Vic.
Thanks, Brook.
That's the last one, right?
That was a good rock.
Yeah,
that was like
literally.
6 back to back to back.
Either 5 or 6 out of one teeny tiny
Yeah.
rock. And the funny thing is you couldn't see any of them from
Nope.
the surface.
You had to have
You
gone
had
down.
to have gone down and looked under there to have seen them. Now, a question we get asked often is about sharks. The only shark we see on our local reefs are nurse sharks. They're usually just sitting on the bottom like this one. This is a big one for what we usually see, probably around 7 feet. They are the most docile of the sharks and they never mess with us. I think the only way this shark would want to hurt you would be if you tried to hurt it.
Well, we just finished up our dive. We caught 13 lobsters. It's starting to get a little choppy, so I think we're gonna call it a day and head home. Alright guys, so we are back home and it's time to clean up our lobsters. We had a great day on the water. It's funny because Victor and I went, I think it was like 2 weeks ago, we caught our limit of lobsters, which was 12 because it's 6 per person. And today it was a lot different out there. There were still a lot of lobsters, but not as many, I think, as there was even 2 weeks ago. So sometimes you go out there and you find a bunch. Sometimes you go out there and there's not a lot, but I still think we did pretty good today, and there was a lot of short lobsters out there as well. So, before I show you guys how to clean this, I'm just gonna talk about my nets and tickle sticks one more time. You guys saw them in action today. I have a ton of videos using them. So you use the tickle stick to tickle the lobster out of the rock. It kind of basically just annoys them. So they come outside the rock, and then usually I'm there or someone else is there waiting with the net for the lobster to come out of the rock, to just go like this to lower the net down, and then grab him once he's in the net, and then he's yours, he's your dinner. So again, if you guys are interested in the net and the tickle stick, FloridaLobsterNets.com, or I will have a link in the description. I hand make them myself, so thank you everyone who's already purchased them for supporting me. I really, really appreciate it. Let's clean this lobster up. So you're gonna take one hand on the head, one hand on the tail. This lobster is dead, and you're gonna twist. I always like doing it over the water because the juice that comes out of the lobster is kind of like cement when it dries. It is not very nice. Take the tip of the antenna, and I'm gonna just snap off the tip of it just like that. Now this is what I'm going to use to take out the vein of the lobster, which is the digestive tract, and it's gonna pull it out just like that. That's the only part that you don't want to eat in that tail, and then your tail is ready for the kitchen. You can make a lobster stock out of the heads as long as you squirt out the guts. You don't want to boil the guts in there. You can eat the legs. These smaller lobsters don't have a ton of meat in there, but you can eat the lobster legs. So I'm gonna finish cleaning these guys up and then I will see you in the kitchen. All right guys, welcome back to the kitchen. So today we are making lobster cakes for lunch. Victor made fish cakes the other day and they were really delicious, so he inspired me to make that for lunch today. So what I did was I took all of my lobster out of the shells, chopped it up into small pieces, and I have some scallion in here, celery, 1 red bell pepper, and then 1 egg. So let's season it up. First thing I'm gonna add is some pepper, some salt, garlic powder, Old Bay, and then some Italian style breadcrumbs. This is what's gonna help bind everything together, as well as that egg. Now let's stir this all up. Okay, so now basically what we're doing is we're gonna make little patties with them. And I actually added 1 more egg because it was kind of not really sticking too well together. So then in here I have more breadcrumbs. And it's definitely not sticking together as well as like fish has in the past. Maybe if I put it in a food processor and minced it up better, but it's still working, so it's okay. So just kind of form a little patty and then just keep on going. All right, so I have a tray ready. There's still more to make, but our oil is nice and hot, so I'm gonna get these frying. So, nice and gentle. All right, time to flip. Oh yeah, look at that.
golden brown. All right, taking these babies out. Finish them, hit them with a little salt. Next batch going in.
Sunflower.
Anytime I just want a nice simple sauce, my go-to would be bang bang sauce. So we have some mayonnaise, gonna add some sriracha, and then sweet Thai chili. You're gonna get this beautiful orange color. Obviously, if you like things very spicy, add some more sriracha to it. If you like it sweeter, add some more sweet Thai chili. I'm gonna add some more chili.
You know my favorite thing to do? Make YouTube jealous? Well, you ought to be jealous. These lobster cakes or lobster fritters, whatever Brook's deciding to call them, are absolutely delicious. I never even thought of having lobster this way. And what she's done with it and the way she's prepared it and cooked it, it's perfect. I mean, I can't say anything too good about these. What a lunch. That's what I'm going to say. What a lunch. Thanks, Brooke.
They are delicious. There's a lot of meat, not a lot of filler. Just the right amount of spice. The dipping sauce is delicious too. A little kick to it. 2 thumbs up. It's delicious.
Like my mom said, no filler. They're delicious. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if you start seeing these on menus in restaurants because they're fabulous. Well done, Brook.
I'm gonna steal what Brian just said off camera. He said this is probably his favorite way to eat lobster. It's mine, for sure. Hands down. You don't mask the lobster flavor. It's like 90% lobster. You still get a little crunch from the celery and the pepper. The perfect lobster dish, and Brook killed it. Absolutely killed it.
Thank you.
It is my favorite way to eat lobster. And you totally outdid yourself this time, Brook. I know everything you cook is good, like Jed just said, but you totally outdid yourself on this one. I love these lobster cakes.
Thank you. So I was up there doing a few different batches. I had to keep frying, and everyone was sitting at the table trying them, saying it was like the best recipe they've ever had. And we've never tried this before, but if you guys have never made a lobster cake before, give it a try. It was absolutely delicious. I really like the flavor of the peppers in there as well. And like Victor said, you're not masking that lobster taste. And boy, it was really delicious. I am really happy with this one. Yum. Well, that was the last lobster video for this season. So if you guys are getting ready to go to the Keys, or if you're just getting prepped for next season, check out my website, FloridaLobsterNets.com. I have lobster nets, tickle sticks, and I do finally have my lobster gauges up there. I've been working on these for quite some time, so I'm excited to finally have those on my website. Again, another big thank you to everyone who has already purchased something on my website. I also have t-shirts up there. It's a lobster t-shirt that I designed myself. So I will see you guys next lobster season. Not really, I'll see you in the next video. We're actually heading to Oregon in 2 days. So when you guys are watching this, we'll be in Oregon with the Addicted Fishing guys. Really excited for that trip. So as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.